Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
This deal has not officially been released, raising a lot of questions and concerns as to what is exactly in the agreement.
President Trump let loose another stinging rebuke of Israel and its conduct as a U.S. ally in the Iran war during a press conference at the G7 summit in France.
During a press conference at the G7 summit in a resort town in the French side of Lake Geneva, President Trump commented on Israel's bombing raid on an apartment complex in Beirut that was home to Hezbollah leaders.
Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
Then, seemingly out of left field, he proposed this idea.
And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
But Gary Bauer of American Values says for months in Washington, people have been talking about an idea that has been floated by multiple countries, including Lebanon.
There has been going on for quite some time a conversation about whether elements in Syria, with the cooperation of the Lebanese government, could work together to take out Hezbollah.
Bauer says it solves certain issues. For one, Israel cannot go in and occupy parts of Lebanon in order to get Hezbollah out. That would end up turning the entire Lebanese population against Israel. But he says those discussions have been going on behind closed doors. Until now.
I think this is another example. The president often says too much, and then it opens him to these controversies.
Israel has not commented on the idea, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been resolutely against putting Israel's security into anyone else's hands. I'm Steve Jordahl.
A top Southern Poverty Law Center official is being accused of giving over $4 million in donor money to violent extremist groups instead of using that money to fight them back. Utah Senator Mike Lee says they're going back on their word in helping people.
They were supposed to be the anti-hate group. They were fomenting hate. They were funding violence.
5 suspects have been arrested for planning to attack people at the White House UFC event on Sunday. Christina Coleman has the latest.
One of the alleged motives was to target, quote, capitalist elites, billionaires, and politicians. Authorities also released photos of the weapons and the aerial maps the suspects plan to use. And as scary as all of this is, you got to give credit to President Trump. He did not appear fazed at all.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched, the attack that I watched were the fighters.
He's so calm, cool, and collected. Also, the feds are looking at 23 people in online chats as part of their ongoing investigation.
There's more news available online at afn.net. And download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty P.
AFA Stream is a resource for life-changing instruction and information, a source of wholesome entertainment and relaxation, plus access to some of your favorite AFA shows. You can watch a lot of content for free, or you can become a Great Commission partner. Then you'll not only open the door to everything AFA Stream has to offer, you'll get benefits like a subscription to The Stand and some really nice exclusives. Why not get started today? It's easy. Visit stream.afa.net.
Welcome to Real Truth for Today with Pastor Jeff Schreve, Senior Pastor of First Baptist Church in Texarkana, Texas. Now, here's Pastor Jeff.
Well, good Wednesday morning and welcome to Real Truth for Today. Hope you're having a good morning. Psalm 46, verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. I want to talk to you today about surviving the summer. So many moms, they really struggle in the summer. You know, kids love the summer. Back in the day, we would sing the Alice Cooper song, School's Out for Summer. We were so excited about that. But moms tend not to be as excited about school being out for summer because then kids are they're home all day, and kids can get bored very quickly. There's nothing to do. I'm so bored, and it's just all day for mom, especially if you have younger kids. If you have older kids, as we do with two older granddaughters, they sleep a lot during the summer, so that's a praise for mom. But here to help me talk about this important subject, how do you survive the summer? How do you make the most of the summer and redeem the time? Is a former frequent guest to Real Truth for Today, and that is Debbie Schreve.
The Debster.
Debbie, it's been a while since you've been on.
It has been a while,
I didn't know if you were mad at me or...
No, but life has just been busy.
Life has been
busy.
busy.
Life has been very busy, yes.
So I think I told you Monday, Debbie, you're coming on Wednesday.
Yes.
And so clear the decks.
Clear the decks. Here I am.
Here you are. Okay, so talking about this subject... you know a lot more about it than I do because you lived it.
I did live it.
3 little girls.
Yes.
My life didn't change a lot in the summer as far as I still had to go to work Monday through Friday, but your life changed a lot when the kids were home all day, every day.
Right. And one of the main things that I remember about the summers were they were so much more expensive. You know, because you just have your normal cost of living expenses that go up in the summer, your water bill, your electricity bill, whatever. But when your kids are home all day, every day, your grocery bill dramatically goes up because they are pretty much grazing, or at least ours were.
All the time.
All the time. And particularly on those days that they were at the pool or swimming or whatever, they would just consume so much food. And so I do remember that element of it specifically. But one of the main things that I can remember is just the shift of how summer changed as the kids were in different phases of their development. So when they were younger, summer could be more difficult because they did get bored more easier. And then as they got older, they would sleep a lot, lounge around a lot, and
stay up late.
Stay up late, and I can remember, as long as they got their chores done, I was okay with that because our culture has kids growing up so fast, and my thought was, well, golly, let them be kids. I mean, they have the rest of their lives to have to work every day and have all these other responsibilities. It's okay in the summer for them to be a little lax.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. You had chores for the girls when they got to be about what age? 6?
Yes, I mean, and those changed as they got older.
Clean your room and
and the stipulation with the cleaning was, and I remember I had to say this often, you clean it based on my definition of what's clean, not what your definition of clean is. My definition of clean. That's how I need you to clean your bathroom, clean your room, put up your laundry, whatever.
And I would imagine Jill, our oldest, she's a neat freak, so she didn't.
Yes, but she wasn't necessarily, she didn't like to clean, but she was definitely more the neat freak out of the 3 girls.
And then Amy and Sarah were a lot more sloppy.
Yes, and I can remember vividly one time spending hours in Amy's room helping her clean, organize. We rearranged her room. We threw all this stuff away because she just kept everything. Oh, I can use it for an art project, whatever it was. And we spent literally probably 7 or 8 hours that day in her room getting all this stuff cleaned. And at the end of it, I said to her, oh, Amy, doesn't this just feel so great to have your room just so fresh and so clean and everything organized? And she looked at me so seriously and she goes, it really doesn't matter that much to me, Mom.
Right.
Because that just wasn't an important thing to her.
Yeah, you love it.
And I love it. Yeah, I love organizing and keeping things structured and organized.
Yeah,
that's my happy place.
I could say to you, Debbie, we could go to the movies, we could go to dinner, or we could rearrange my closet. First on the list would be like, let's rearrange your closet. That's so fun.
And another thing that I would say, and the girls to this day make fun of me for saying this, but I would say, let's just do this so we can be done with it. Let's just do it so it can be done.
Yes.
So with the closet situation in the scenario you just gave, it would be, let's just do that. It won't take us that long. Let's just do it, and then we can be done with it, and then we can just relax and enjoy.
I still remember cleaning out my nightstand or something like that. You're going through everything, and then I see a letter that I hadn't seen for a while, and I stop and read it. And you're like, you've lost your focus.
Yes, like you
we're
just
not
can't...
here to read letters. We're here to
Yes.
clean this up.
Well, and you would just get lost in the trees and just miss the forest, So it's like, oh my goodness, stop.
Okay, so a mom as school, I mean, we're already in the throes of school being out. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. But what are some things that a mom can do to help her so she's not just overwhelmed? Because, when your kids are little, your house is basically a disaster zone. I mean,
right.
As one friend said to me a couple of months ago, he's got 2 little kids. He said, every day is Groundhog Day. You just wake up, it's the same day. Bill Murray, every day was the same day. And you wake up and it's the same stuff. You cook, you clean, you do laundry, you pick up toys, and then you pick up toys, and then you pick up toys, and then you clean up. And I mean, it's just constant when you have little kids.
Well, and I think, too, it depends on the sex of your kids and their temperaments, because our 3 girls could stay focused on playing a game together, the 3 of them, for a significant amount of time. But boys are not necessarily like that at the same age.
No.
Some of them are, but as a rule, boys have at that age, younger, meaning like 3rd grade and down, they have a much shorter attention span.
They're a lot more destructive, too.
Yeah, and physical. And so, like, I know with our grandsons, one of their favorite things to do is to dump all the toys out. Not necessarily the playing with the toys, but just the dumping out of the toys brings them such joy.
Yes.
And girls are just different than that. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that. There are some girls that are going to do that. But as a rule, I think it's safe to say that girls are more oriented toward, okay, well, I'm going to play with this thing.
Right.
So if I take all my Barbies out, it's because I'm going to be developing like a whole city where they can
Yes.
play, and I'm changing their clothes, and I'm doing all these things.
They would play Barbies for a long time.
Yes,
they would be quiet doing
and our girls were very creative in their play, and I think part of it was that we had them so close together. So the first 3 years were hellish, but once Sarah, our youngest, got to be about 3, they all just interacted and played together. So they would come up with all these creative things to do. They would play office, they would play apartment, and they would spend, most of the day doing that. Like, they would do it for a while, take a break, then come back and continue to have that same activity.
One of the things that in the summer that is good to do is to go to the pool. And not everybody has access to a pool, but that is money well spent to get a pool pass. Amy and Travis live in the Woodlands, lots of pools around, and so you can get a pool pass. But to take your kids, it gets them out in the sun, and the sun zaps a little bit of their energy. You're out there with them, but it's an activity. Hey, we're going to the pool at 10 o'clock, and we're going to stay till 12 or whatever. It's something that they can look forward to. It's fun. Now, it can be stressful for mom because it's depending on how many kids you have. You got to watch them like a hawk because you make sure nobody drowns. But I think that helps Amy a lot, taking the boys to the pool.
Well, I think more than anything, it's having some kind of structure in which your children have something to look forward to, and you get out of the house in some form or fashion multiple times during the week. Because kids thrive in structure. That's why they do well in school, because it's like, okay, every morning at school, this is what we do. We have lunch every day at this time. And so for a lot of kids, when you get into the summer months,
it's too loosey-goosey.
It's too loosey-goosey, and they don't know what to do with that. And so I do think that I tried to do that with our kids when they were little, and we would maybe have one day during the week where it's like, okay, this is just we're home all day. We want to stay in our pajamas all day, so be it. But we're staying home because we're getting caught up with things at home, and we're just going to have an at-home day. But by and large, even that at-home day, we would be outside some of the time. We would go out in the backyard, or we'd go for a walk, or whatever it might be. But I think most cities have a lot of different activities planned during the summer months that kids can participate in. Now, some of them require finances to do, but there are other things that don't require finances.
Well, we used to, this is back in the day, but we would take them to the library. We would, hey, you get a book, and they would enjoy doing that. Yeah, even just going, like, if you live by a mall, even just going to the mall, you can walk around there. It's air conditioned, but it burns off some energy, and it's something to do, because otherwise you're at home, and if you're just going to stay in the house, that can be really hard.
Well, and I know that, like, with our girls, we would do art projects, and because I enjoyed that, because my nature is I'm fairly creative myself, and so I like to do creative things with the kids. But if you're someone who's not that way, you don't have a creative bent, it can be difficult to figure out things to do with your kids, and then just to come to grips with the fact that it's like, okay, this activity that's going to be a lot of fun for them, it is just going to make a mess, and it's going to be work for me. Yeah, I'm going to have to set all this stuff up. They're going to make a mess with it, and then I'm going to have to either clean it up myself or even take longer and have them help me clean it up. Right. I mean, so you just have to kind of go in with a different kind of mindset.
Well, one thing that you can do too would be, challenge the kids with some scripture verses. Hey, we're going to memorize this verse this week. Kids can memorize. Kids have a mind like a steel trap. And so that's a good time for moms and dads to say, hey, we're going to have a memory verse this week. We're going to all learn whatever it is. Ephesians 4:32 is our family verse. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. Things like that, and tie it to, you get an allowance, you get $1 or whatever, you get some kind of prize, or we're going to take you to ice cream. But then you can fit scripture in there, and something that builds their their knowledge of the Word of God, that's tied into something fun for them. As a little kid, hey, going to the ice cream store is fun, or going to get this toy is fun, or whatever. But those are creative ways to hide the Word of God in their hearts.
Well, I think too, if you are engaged in a church, your church probably is going to offer some activities for the summer. And I know that we would always have our kids involved in vacation Bible schools and things like that, because that took up some of their time, and it developed them spiritually as well.
Well, you're listening to Real Truth for Today on American Family Radio. Pastor Jeff Schreve here with my wife, Debbie, and we're talking about surviving the summer. How can you, especially as a mom, dads too, but as a mom with your kids in the summertime, how can you redeem the time? How can you make the most of the time? And how can you keep your sanity as the house is in more upheaval than usual with the kids being home from school? So we'll be right back after the break. Don't go away.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starn. Stand by for news and commentary next. Major League Baseball is warning Christian players not to write Bible verses on their ball caps during Gay Pride Month. Now, several members of the San Francisco Giants drew scorn after they wrote verses on Gay Pride ball caps they had been instructed to wear during games. Pitcher Landon Roop writing Genesis 9:12 through 16, a reference to the verse where God explains the purpose of the rainbow. and it's not a flag. Major League Baseball warned that riding on a cap violates their rules, and players were threatened with fines. In response to that, actor Rob Schneider offered to personally pay those fines, noted that Major League Baseball is anti-Christian. The issue here is that homosexuality has nothing to do with baseball. Why should professional athletes be forced to promote a lifestyle choice they may not agree with? Seems like Major League Baseball has more important things to do than bully Christian ball players. I'm Todd Stearns.
He said something about he wants to take the oil.
Yes, and there have been even comments in recent days about the Strait of Trump.
Did he say that?
Well, people are quoting him as saying it.
He may just be trolling the Democrats and the media.
He still shouldn't say things like that because this is not a time for flippancy. Right. If you want to get that, you can get that right here on Today's Issues.
Today's Issues, weekday mornings at 11 Eastern, 10 Central on American Family Radio.
Jerusalem, oh Jerusalem, how many times I would have taken you under my wings. They had everything that was necessary for them to know Jesus and follow him, and they went their way.
I think for nations, for individuals, there is a day that you have to make the decision to respond to the Lord, and it might be that the door of opportunity after that shuts.
Exploring the Word, weekdays 3 p.m. Central on AFR. Okay, here's an assignment for you, if you will. I want you to take some time and think about a getaway that gives you a chance to get together with other people of faith, deepen your walk with God, and make new friends, all while enjoying the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter in Kentucky. I'm talking about joining AFA at the Ark, October 29th and 30th. This is a great opportunity to break away from the grind of everyday life and draw closer to God through special presentations from Patricia Engler and Brian Osborne of Answers in Genesis. It also includes entrance to the Creation Museum on Thursday and the Ark Encounter on Friday. Friday's dinner includes a panel discussion with Tony Vitagliano, Walker Wildman, and Wesley Wildman, Vice Presidents of American Family Association. This is an event that can fill up quickly, so hurry to afa.net/events to register for AFA at the Ark 2026. afa.net/events, and we'll see you at the Ark.
This is Real Truth for Today. Podcasts of the program are available on the podcast page at afr.net. Now, back to Pastor Jeff Schreve.
Welcome back to the program. Pastor Jeff here, and wanted to let you know about a couple of things. So this Sunday, one of the best Sundays, greatest Sundays on the calendar is Father's Day, and we have a great service planned at First Baptist Texarkana, and I'm going to be talking about the blessing from Numbers 6. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. We're going to talk about the blessing of the Father. And then also wanted to let you know that Todd Stearns, you just heard him at the break. Todd Stearns is going to be at First Baptist Texarkana on the 28th, June 28th. That's going to be our day to really celebrate America and the 250th anniversary. We know that that comes on July 4th. July 4th is on a Saturday, and July 5th obviously is Sunday, but lots of people are out of town then, so we're doing our big celebration on June 28th, and Todd will be here and talking about engaging the culture. That's going to be a great, great Sunday. And then let you know about one other thing, Israel 2027. Our Israel trip is coming up April 2nd through 11th, and we would love for you to go with me and go with us. I say us. Debbie, you're not going.
I'm going to keep the home fires burning.
And why are you not going to Israel?
Well, for me to go to Israel, I would either have to be severely drugged, sleep all the time, or I would be throwing up all the time. So it's just not my idea of a fun 10 days.
Because of the car sick.
I get very motion sick. Yes, not air sick. Air travel is okay for me.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. But it's the bus and just everything else. So I just am at the age where I'm like, no, I'm just not going to do that. I'm waiting for the New Jerusalem.
So I'll be there. Dr. Chris Schroeder's coming with me, and we're going to have a great time. And so we'd love for you to go. You can find out all the particulars. Go to fromhisheart.org, and just click on that Holy Land 2027 link. And if you have any questions, just let us know.
And we're currently about halfway full.
Halfway full.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about surviving the summer. What can moms especially, what can you do? Or maybe it's a grandmother that's watching the kids or an aunt or something like that. But when you have kids home from school all summer, it can be daunting. It can be very, very, very difficult. It can be very exhausting. What do I do? And so we asked our daughters, what do you do? And what are some tips that you can give to help other people? So, Debbie, you want to share some of those?
Yes, our middle daughter, who has the 3 young boys, they are all 3 currently under the age of 5. Okay, so she has definitely got her hands full. And they're very high energy. Let's just add that to the mix. And smart and creative. So you put all that together and it's can be a perfect storm. Anyway, she told us several things. She said that an outing a day is a must for them. She needs it and they need it. And so just to break the day up, to just get out of the house. And that doesn't have to mean some big ordeal. It can mean just a long walk or going to the park.
Yeah, they just walk down the street.
In the Houston area, they live in the Woodlands, it gets hot as Hades in the summer, and add the humidity to that. So oftentimes they'll do that in the morning time so that in the afternoon they have more downtime. She is not one to want the kids to have a ton of screen time, particularly the baby. She doesn't want him to have screen time at all. And so they'll do an activity like that in the morning and then come home, have lunch. And then when the baby's taken his nap, that's when she'll let the other 2 they'll have TV. Some veg time, some downtime. They can watch TV. And it gives her a break too, hopefully, that they're not bugging her that whole time so that she can have a little bit.
Well, and I think moms need to be careful that the TV and the screens don't just dominate everything.
Right.
That's easy. That's easy. Just turn it on and
there are times when it's like, praise God that we have this, right? I mean, so I can remember there were days like maybe I didn't feel good or it was horrible weather or whatever. It's like, okay, every now and then to have a screen day, well, that's okay. It's everything in proportion, so you don't ever let anything get out of balance where that is just your go-to where all day long that's what your kids are doing. But it's okay every now and then for that to happen.
So when our kids were little, we, the technology isn't what it is today, but we would go to the church library, we would get VHS tapes of
You are really dating us, Schreve.
Mr. Quigley's Village or
Sandy Patty, what was her thing? Friendship Company.
Yeah, songs and really just like Mr. Quigley was kind of like Mr. Rogers, except it was very, very Christian. But it taught them lessons about responsibility, about honesty, about asking for forgiveness. And we would play those. Now, kids like to watch things over and over and over.
Yes.
And so we would play those over and over and over. And it was like, okay, those are good for them to watch because it's teaching them biblical principles.
Right. Okay, so that's one thing Amy said. Then she talked about pool passes. And then to just get help when you can. Like for her, even taking her kids to the pool during the day, she cannot do that by herself. She does not have the bandwidth, nor would anyone, to be able to watch 3 children under the age of 5 and to keep them alive at a pool. And so now on the weekends, Travis goes with her and, they can handle it. But it's a lot of responsibility to take 3 young kids like that. So she has kids that help her babysit. That there's one little sweet girl that lives in their neighborhood that will go with them to the pool so that they're able to do that. She said to look for summer Bible studies for her. For moms, and then that provide childcare so that she can participate in that, and then different VBSs. And then I love this: make a predetermined list or menu on your phone of things that you can do, free things and things you have to pay for, people to reach out to, like for play groups and play dates and that kind of thing, so that you have a list ready of things that you can do when your kids are, I'm bored, when you really hit that point where you're like, okay, I've got to have a break.
Well, you have to be proactive.
Right.
And you have to have a plan, because if you just fly by the seat of your pants, I mean, those things have to be kind of scheduled out, and you got to know. And I think it does take some planning. You're a good planner, but you got to. It's Saturday. What are we going to do next week? Let's kind of plan this out.
Well, and then she just texted us with another thing that I thought was really cool, and a friend of hers told her about this. It's like at the beginning of the summer, their family just kind of made a bucket list of things they wanted to do over the course of the summer. And then when boredom hit, they would pull something out of, or make a list or whatever it is, and think, okay, we're going to do one of these this week, or we're going to do one thing on this bucket list every week. We're going to do this.
Right.
Now, our older, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, that keeps you from getting in a rut.
Right.
It keeps the variety going.
Yes. Now, our older daughter, because her kids are older, okay, Emmy is going to be a junior in high school.
Yeah,
she's
getting
fixing
ready
to turn
16.
Yeah, going to be 16 on July the 4th. We call it Emmy-pendence Day. Anyway, her birthday's coming up, and then the youngest daughter will be 11. And so
Lyndon's birthday's
August the 8th.
Yeah.
So August the 7th.
15th.
No.
It makes 15. August 8th.
August the 7th.
7th.
And she was born in 2015.
That's how it works.
That's how the math works.
Yes.
Anywho, where was I? Her summer looks totally different because her kids are so much older.
Right.
So it's not that the kids stay up super late, but they're, Emmy's a teenager. Linda's a tween. And so it's like, okay, they sleep a lot. And so Jill was like, I've had to learn, because Jill's a go, crash and burn kind of person like I am. We get more done before noon than most people do all day, because we're just major morning people getting things done. And she's like, it's okay for us to watch a movie in the middle of the day. It's okay for us to not have lunch till 2:30 or 3. It's okay, because they're kids. They're not going to be in my house forever. And that's okay. I can get myself real legalistic about things, or I can be more flexible and realize, hey, it's okay to have a day or two where we don't do anything. Now, Lyndon is much more of a go-goer, and so she does like to get out every day. And so, Jill will try and plan things like that. But it goes back to your kids' temperaments, your temperament, your financial situation, and then just making sure that you have some variety, and that you do plan as best you're able. Because I can remember that we were fortunate enough, God blessed us with having a home when our kids were whatever ages they were. Sarah was in 5th grade, I think, when we moved into that house, but we did have a pool, and they would spend hours outside with their friends in that pool. And that was when cha-ching, ching, our grocery bill went way up. Because I can remember they would eat like 3 or 4 pizzas at lunch, frozen pizzas. They would eat an entire watermelon in a sitting. I mean, they would go through boxes upon boxes of cereal, in a week, gallons and gallons of milk in a week. And so that's what I said kind of at the front of the show today. It's like, okay, yeah, summer can be costly, because you are spending more money on groceries, and you're spending more money on probably activity related things than you do during the school year, because the school year occupies their time.
Well, one thing we talked about, pool passes. Most people aren't going to have a pool. Some will. One of the things, when our kids were little, I wanted to buy a house that had a pool, even if it was less house, but a good pool, because I grew up having a pool, and we spent so much time outside swimming, and that's a great thing for kids. You get out in the sun, you're burning energy, you can play for hours out there. Once you learn how to swim, then mom and dad aren't concerned about you. But it is really, and then once the kids get older, they're not that interested in swimming. It's that middle school till about
10th grade, probably.
Yeah, well,
10th.
Even before middle school. So you probably like 3rd grade when you learn, 2nd, 3rd grade, you learn how to swim until you get to be about 10th grade. You're really into the pool, and then it's like 11th grade. You're not into anything,
right? Because you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the Houston area also, we were just blessed with subdivision pools. And so your homeowners association fees gave you the privilege of going to these pools. So even if you did not have a pool yourself, you had a subdivision pool. Now, where we live in Texarkana, we don't have that. And so a lot more people have private pools in their backyards.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I've found is older people, because they have a pool but they don't use it, and they would love for you to come use it. We have our friends down the street, and when the boys come over, use our pool. We don't use it. We spend all this money to make it nice, and nobody gets in it.
Right.
And so those are options. But I do think the pool is something most kids enjoy that. And it can be a really good break for mom and dad.
Yeah. And I can remember we would have like art afternoons where we would do like different little art projects, or we might have a cooking afternoon where we would make cookies together, or but our girls were really creative in their play. I can remember even as when they were really young, my friends would make comments about that, about how creative our kids were in terms of things that they just thought up that they wanted to do. And that's a good thing. And it can make you crazy as a parent when your kids are real creative, because they can get into a lot of mischief in their creative thought processes. But it is a really cool thing to just encourage your kids' creativity. That's an important facet of their personalities that serves them well throughout the rest of their lives.
The other thing too that moms need to remember is, okay, in the summer, life is slowed down. It's not like, hey, we got to be out the door at 7:30 or so to get to school, so you don't have that rush. And to teach your kids things about how to pray, or how to have a quiet time, or, hey, we're going to have a little discussion about this topic, whatever it is. I'm going to give you a story, and then you tell me, what is the right thing to do. Things like that. And I think moms need to remember, okay, this is my job, especially stay-at-home moms. This is my job. And just like I would prepare for the day if I were working, I need to kind of prepare and take some time. Okay, Lord, help me with this day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Tomorrow's not promised. Yesterday is gone. So you got to focus on that day. How can I make a difference in my child's life this day? How can we enjoy it together? And then I would say, just encourage moms, listen, your job is the hardest job on the planet. Cut yourself some slack. If a day just doesn't go well, okay, you
got a new day tomorrow.
Yeah, just give it to the Lord and start over. If you lose your temper with your kids, let's face it, you're human. We all had those days with our children. Just confess that. A righteous man falls 7 times, Proverbs 24, verse 16, and rises again. Okay, Lord, I blew it, but today's a new day, and I'm going to walk with you.
A couple of things that just from you, what you just said, made me think of this. And I just had this conversation at the office yesterday with somebody. I can so remember, like, just instantly getting on the kids' level, because I would just get so frustrated with them. And you would walk through the room and just like hiss like a cat, and I can remember telling you that if we were just on audio, you would not know who was the parent and who was the child, because I would just get so frustrated. But the interesting thing about that is, our girls don't remember me doing that a ton.
No.
So your kids, they really do give you a whole lot of grace as a parent. They really, really do. You can think you're doing just such a horrible job, and that you're ruining their lives, and they're going to be in a psychiatrist's office for the rest of their life trying to get straightened out. But kids give you a lot of grace.
They do. And if you mess up, you fess up, you just say, hey, I blew it. I lost my temper. Please forgive me. Your kids are quick to forgive. You just have to be quick to ask for forgiveness. Well, you're listening to Real Truth for Today on American Family Radio. Pastor Jeff Schreve here, along with my wife, Debbie, talking about surviving the summer. When we come back from the break, we'll be taking your calls. We'd love to hear your ideas. 888-589-8840. That's 888-589-8840. Let us know what you've done that has really been helpful. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Every day, AFA offers biblical insight on issues that others aren't willing to touch, in the hopes that you'll become a world changer. That's why we're offering an in-depth worldview training course called Activate. 13 different professors teaching 18 sessions, all available online, including a printed workbook to help you apply what you've learned and 1-year access to AFA streaming content to give you even more resources. Find out more about Activate and sign up today at activate.afa.net.
If we lose this cultural war, we're going to have a hedonistic, humanistic society.
Discover the story of the culture warrior Don Wildman and how he went head-to-head with Hollywood, Playboy, the homosexual agenda, and the Disney empire. The movement Don started paved the way for Christians to boldly stand for truth and righteousness in a hostile culture. Watch Culture Warrior today for free. Visit culturewarrior.movie.
Hey, it's Michael Woolworth with Bible League International, and a very important question as we near the end of our campaign to bless Bibleless believers all over the world. You know, Paul in Galatians 6 says what? Bear one another's burdens and thus fulfill the law of Christ. In 1 Corinthians 13, he says when one part of the body suffers, we suffer together. Now, there are millions of Christians around the world who are denied God's word. They're in places where it's difficult to live out their faith. Let me ask you, if that were you, wouldn't you pray that anyone would send you a Bible? One of those families of believers belongs to Wendell.
My name is Wendell and I live in Kenya, Africa. I learned a Bible verse in Sunday school and I want to learn more. Please send me a Bible today.
Will you answer Wendell's plea for a Bible? AFR listeners, you blessed 11,000 Bibleless believers. We want to do it for 16,000 by June 30th. So at $5 a Bible, $100 sends 20, $500 sends 100. Would you call 800-YES-WORD? 800-YES-WORD. 800-YES-WORD. Or give it sendbiblesnow.org. Sendbiblesnow.org.
Hi, I'm Jan Harper. If you're a pastor's wife, you know both the blessings and the unique challenges that come with the life you and your husband live daily. We call it living in the fishbowl.
Details have been announced for the 2026 Pastors and Wives Fishbowl Retreat. Once again, this year's retreat will be at Pickwick Landing State Park in Counce, Tennessee. From October 20th through the 22nd, pastors and their wives will enjoy rest, renewal, and fellowship hosted by Pastor Bert Harper, Director of Marriage, Family, and Pastoral Ministries at AFA and co-host of Exploring the Word on AFR, and his wife, Jan. Our special speaker will be J.J. Jasper of AFR. Your registration fee covers lodging, meals, and materials. All you need to do is get there. The annual AFA Pastors and Wives Fishbowl Retreat, October 20th through 22nd. Learn more and register at repairingthefoundations.net.
We'd love to see you there.
If you'd like to contact Pastor Jeff, email pastorjeff@fromhisheart.org. Now, back to Real Truth for Today with Pastor Jeff Schreve.
Welcome back. We're talking about surviving the summer, and my special guest in the studio today is my wife, Debbie. It's so funny, Debbie, as you know, anytime you're on, people are like, oh, I love the program, especially when your wife is on.
That's because I'm not here very often.
So they like the program when it's just me. They love the program when it's you and me.
That's like an iced coffee and an iced coffee with cold foam on top.
Yes,
yeah.
You're the cold foam.
I'm the cold foam. I bring the cold foam. You know, one thing we talked about just a little over the break, which I wanted to mention before we got into any of our phone calls, is that I did try to have consistency between the school year and the summer in that work first, then fun. So like when the kids were in school, when they got home from school, it was like, no, we do our homework straight away. Then we relax and we have fun and we're done for the rest of the day. You can just do whatever you want to do to have fun.
Work then fun.
Work then fun. And so that pattern was continued over into the summer, where it's like, okay, when we have chores, when we have work, when we have things like that have to get done, that gets done first before other things. Because for our family, if they didn't do that, the work would never get done. They would always have some other reason to not get it done. I can remember one time thinking, okay, I'm going to see how long these clothes will stay on the stairs before they actually physically pick them up and put them in their rooms. And it was like almost a whole week. I'm like, you girls have walked over these clothes for a whole week. And so it's like, okay, no, we're going to, when I have the privilege, when I have treated you to getting your laundry done and I have folded it and put it on the stairs, you're going to be putting it up in your room that day.
Yeah.
We're going to do it that day. So there was that continuity between school time and summertime.
You're a major, do the work and then the play.
That's right.
Sing first, read later.
That's
as we
right.
like in that
Get
line
over
from
it
Get
movie.
Over It. Yes. So when you're trying out for the musical, you sing first and then you read. But I was thinking about that with you've taught me after a trip when we come home, what's the first thing you do?
Just get it unpacked.
You unpack, you put all the dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper, and you undo your suitcase. You don't wait. You don't do that later that night. You do it right then. And it's a good feeling to get it all done.
You do it, so it's done. See? That's another time that you could use that phrase.
You do it and then it's done. And then what I've learned is when we come back from a trip that we've driven, I immediately go wash the car because then,
It's so
car's
nice
full
that
of
you do
bugs
that.
and all sorts of things. Yeah. So it does make a difference, and it's a good feeling. Well, we're going to the phone lines, 888-589-8840. If you have an idea of something that you've done that's really helped in the summer, we'd love to hear from you. And we have Tara on the line from Indiana. Tara, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to share something that we do for the summer is our local library summer reading program. And we have a small community library, but it is wonderful. We read all throughout the summer, and my kids absolutely love it.
Good. How many kids do you have, Tara?
I have 3. One just turned 8. One will be 7 later this summer, and a 3-year-old.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you
And
get
they
your
all
hands full.
enjoy it.
Well, and reading is so very, very important in development. I mean, it helps you in so many other areas. And so that it's such a good outlet because it enhances creativity and helps with motor skills. I mean, it's just wonderful. So that's a great, great piece of advice to give out to other people.
Yeah, one of the things about reading, I remember I read a book for seminary, and it talked about when you read, then your imagination takes off because you're reading about a truck goes down a dusty road, and you see it in your mind. If you watch it on TV, well, you see it's a red truck going down a road. But when you read it, you can imagine what that's like. And that's why if you read a book and then watch the movie that comes out after the
Always
book,
disappointing.
it's very disappointing because it's like, that's not what that person looks like.
Right.
I had it in my mind. Well, Tara, thank you for that. That is a great thing for moms to do. And I totally agree. Take advantage of those things that are free, that help your kids, that they look forward to it, they love it, and it can be good, really, really good in the summer. So God bless you, and I appreciate you calling in with that. We have Rebecca on the line from Texas. Rebecca, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Thank you. Good morning. My
Good morning.
2 ideas, when my kids were young, we would take them to Kids Bowl Free. There's a program, kidsbowlfree.com. And you can, in the heat of the day, in the afternoon, you can take your kids bowling for free. And they loved it. And when they got a little bit older, they'd take their friends.
Oh, cool. Well, bowling has gotten a lot easier for kids because they had the bumpers.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we didn't have that. So it was gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball. It could be very disheartening. But now with the bumpers, you guys put up the bumpers, Rebecca?
We did when they were small. The second thing we would do is we would do indoor camping, and we would take a folding table or something. Those kids would take sheets, and they would build, a tent and
Build a
pretend to
fort.
camp in the living room during the summer with flashlights and read in their tent and, that kind of stuff. They got creative with it.
Yeah. I remember that as a kid. My mom and dad, they had 6 kids. I was number 5 out of 6. But I remember doing that, we called it making a fort. You put a blanket over a card table, and that can be a lot of fun for a little kid. And it's just like, this is my lair, So, well, that's very good. I appreciate that, Rebecca. Those are good things for moms to consider and to put into practice. So I didn't know that about the bowling. That is that's
really
a
good thing to know.
Yeah. Well, God bless you. How old are your children?
They're 17 and 20 now.
So no more forts. So, but I appreciate that.
I remember when I was babysitting one time for the boys, and we decided to build a mosh pit in their house. And so we took and Amy probably, hates me for this because they still do it, but we took all of the pillows off of the couch and we put them all over the floor by the couch, and then we put blankets and we pulled pillows off of beds. I mean, we just had pillows everywhere, and they would jump from the couch into that mosh pit, and oh my goodness, they loved it. And so Amy just sent us a picture where they were kind of doing that same thing in her bedroom this morning, because they just love it, so they can create their own little area and just go to town. Now, that's work because you got to reassemble your home after that's done, but it's a good play. Burns energy, it enhances creativity. I mean, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's good. All right, Rebecca, thank you for that. We have Mark on the line from North Carolina. Mark, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Hello.
How are you?
How y'all doing today? I hope y'all are well. I wanted to say God bless y'all. I love Real Truth for Today and From His Heart in the evening.
Thank you.
God bless y'all, and God bless AFR.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, though, has there ever been a time when y'all have kind of like been at your wits' end with each other? Like... you say, will you do this? And she says, will you do this? And you just go back and forth kind of like that. And I just feel like my marriage is absolutely going nowhere. If anything, it's going downhill. And we just can't find common ground,
Yeah. How long you been married, Mark?
16. It'll be 16 years, November, I think.
Yeah. How many children?
We have two girls, 14 and 15, and I have a son that's 25 from a previous marriage.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage you this way. I think every marriage have ups and downs, and you have some dry times. It's just like in your Christian life. In your relationship with the Lord, it's not just a rocket ship that just keeps going up and up and up. You're going to have dips, and it's more like a roller coaster in a lot of situations. But I would encourage you to get some outside perspective. If you and your wife can go to your pastor or to a counselor at church, get solid biblical counseling. Get somebody from the outside that can see the situation from a more unbiased viewpoint, because she has her things, you have your things, and you see things from your perspective. She sees things from her perspective. You need somebody that can look outside of that and say, okay, here are some issues that could really help you. No doubt when the marriage starts going south, there are hurt feelings, and the Bible says don't let the sun go down on your anger, and don't give the devil a place, don't give him an opportunity. And when the hurt feelings go and people feel like you did this and this was very hurtful and now I'm angry about it, and you don't forgive the other person quickly, and the person doesn't seek forgiveness, then resentment sets in, bitterness sets in, then the marriage becomes icy cold, and the love life goes out the window, and then it just becomes a lot of bickering back and forth, or the silent treatment back, where it's not good. And so if it gets like that, there's no shame in saying, hey, I need some outside help. If you had a situation with your body that was not functioning right, you wouldn't think twice about going to the doctor to get, I got to find out what's wrong. Well, a counselor, a pastor, somebody that can help you diagnose what's going on emotionally, that is time well spent.
Well, and I think, too, just like Jeff said, every couple goes through seasons of dry times. And, people hear us on the radio and you think, oh, they just, everything is just perfect in their lives. Well, that's not true, because we're human just like everybody else is. And so, so often what causes the beginning of issues are expectations that have not been met. And so, like Jeff said, to have an outsider be able to look in and kind of say, okay, from what I'm hearing, it seems like this is where this hurt came from, and this is where this hurt came from. And, we have always just made sure in our marriage that we take care of it, meaning we water it, we fertilize it, we make sure it gets some sun so that it can grow. And so, it just as with any kind of thing that's growing, you have seasons of growth, you have seasons where things are dormant. And so even in those dormant times, you have to take care of the soil. And so we've just made sure that we always did that. So we might have let the sun go down on our wrath in terms of like, okay, we're too tired to figure this out tonight, but we're going to talk about this later. So we never just left things unresolved. And I think that has, if I were looking back on what has caused our marriage to be successful, I think that would be one of the main things that I would look to, is that we always resolved things. We didn't let things remain unresolved.
Right. Well, Mark, I hope that it is helpful and encouraging. And if I can do anything for you, call me or you can connect with me, Pastor Jeff at FromHisHeart.org. And I don't necessarily know a lot of people in North Carolina, but I might know somebody that could. Well, and
to remember, I think this is so important. God restores. Mm-hmm. He's a God of restoration, and so he is able to bring new life from dead things. Mm-hmm. And so to be encouraged in that, to not think, okay, this is just as good as it's going to get. No, God wants your marriage to be a 12.
Right. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks for calling, my friend.
Thank y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We have time for one last call. Julie from Arkansas. Julie, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Yes, good morning, Pastor Jeff, and good morning, Debbie. It's
good morning.
Great to hear you. Good morning. Real quick, the situation, I do have 3 girls. The mom, I was a working mom. Long story short, they're grown. My husband passed in 2017. COVID hit. I was left with a mother-in-law suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's in my home. Girls were still in school. I had some major challenges. And then to overcome that was I have severe hard of hearing, but by the grace of God, I'm able to hear over the phone. I'm able to make phone calls. I'm very independent. But I think the challenge was for me was how to defeat the enemy in this world. So, I hear the music, so.
Yeah. Well, Julie, I appreciate that, and those would be very, very challenging. And praise the Lord, you got through that. And God, as we started the program, Psalm 46, verse 1, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. As one translation says, He's abundantly available to help us when we're in trouble. And so many moms are in trouble in the summer. God, I need you, and He's there. And so God bless you, Julie. Thanks for calling, and thanks for listening to Real Truth for Today. Go out today, shine for Christ, and share what great things the Lord has done for you, and God will use you as His witness. God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.